Have you ever wondered why you are the way you are? Not just the face you see in the mirror or the name you answer to, but the intricate, invisible force that guides your every thought, your every choice, your every feeling. It's a question that has haunted philosophers, poets, and scientists for millennia. We spend our lives inside our own minds, yet for many of us, it remains the most undiscovered country. Today, we're going on a journey, not to a distant land, but inward into the very heart of what makes you, you. We're going to decode the ever-evolving fingerprint of the mind. Your personality isn't a single, fixed point of light, like a distant star in the night sky. No, it's something far more dynamic, more alive. Imagine it as a shimmering constellation of traits, a celestial mist that swirls with the whispered codes of your ancestors and is constantly reshaped by the gravity of your life. As pivotal moments, it is the inner cosmos where your courage finds its voice, where your fears cast their long shadows, where your capacity for kindness blooms, and where your unique sense of humor takes flight. This internal universe is woven together from hidden patterns, elegant and complex, that guide how you think, how you love, and how you perceive the vast, beautiful, and sometimes chaotic world around you. This is the story of that inner cosmos, the unseen melody of your being. At the very genesis of your story, long before you took your first breath, a script was being written. This script lies coiled within the nucleus of every cell in your body, in the elegant double helix of your DNA. These are the ancestral whispers, the genetic hints of who you might become. This biological inheritance can influence a startling array of your tendencies, everything from your baseline sensitivity to stress making you either a calm harbor or a ship easily rocked by storms, to the very speed and intensity with which you process emotions. You might carry the genetic echo of a great-grandmother's resilience or a grandfather's predisposition to melancholy. But here is where the story takes a fascinating turn. This genetic script is not your destiny. It is not a rigid blueprint that dictates your every move. It is, instead, the opening lines of a grand and lifelong dialogue. Every experience you have, from the warmth of a caregiver's embrace in infancy to the sting of your first heartbreak, from the triumph of mastering a new skill to the quiet solitude of a walk in the woods, engages in a delicate dance with these inherited codes. This dance is a remarkable process known as epigenetics. Think of your DNA as a vast library of books, each book a gene containing a potential story. Epigenetics is the librarian, the force that decides which books are pulled from the shelves and read aloud, and which remain closed and silent. Life experiences act as signals to this librarian, turning genes on or off, amplifying some traits while muting others. A gene for anxiety might remain dormant in a nurturing, stable environment, but be switched on by a period of intense, prolonged stress. Nowhere is this elegant dialogue between nature and nurture more beautifully illustrated than in the study of identical twins who have been raised apart. These individuals are, for all intents and purposes, genetic clones. They share the same DNA script. When they are reunited after decades of living separate lives, the similarities can be truly uncanny, almost eerie. They might discover they both drive the same model of car, prefer the same brand of toothpaste, or have a shared phobia of butterflies. They might laugh with the same cadence, hold their hands in the same way when they're thinking, or even have given their children the same names. These startling parallels are a powerful testament to the deep foundational influence of our biology. It's a clear signal that the raw materials of our personality are in many ways given to us at birth. Yet, it is in their differences that the true magic of personality is revealed. One twin might be a confident, outgoing executive, while the other is a contemplative, introverted artist. One may be a devout spiritual seeker, the other a staunch atheist. These subtle yet profound divergences are the footprints of experience. They prove that nurture, context, and the beautiful randomness of coincidence sculpt something wholly singular from the same genetic clay. One twin may have had a mentor who ignited a passion for science, while the other endured a childhood illness that fostered a deep empathy for others. Their shared DNA provided the potential, but it was the unique journey of their lives, the people they met, the challenges they faced, the choices they made that determined how that potential was ultimately expressed. Their story is our story. It's a powerful reminder that we are all a living, breathing conversation between what we are given and what we become. If our DNA is the initial script, then our brain is the theater where the story of our personality unfolds. The very wiring of this incredible organ, the intricate network of neural pathways forged over a lifetime, predicts and reflects our most fundamental temperament. It's not just a metaphorical idea. Modern neuroscience allows us to literally see these patterns. Take, for instance, the classic distinction between extroversion and introversion. This isn't just about being the life of the party versus preferring a quiet night in. It's a biological reality rooted in the brain's inner architecture. Functional MRI scans reveal that individuals who identify as extroverted often show stronger, more active connections in the brain's reward and attention networks, particularly the dopamine system. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter of motivation, pleasure, and reward. For the extroverted brain, social interaction, meeting new people, engaging in lively conversation, being the center of attention, delivers a potent and rewarding hit of dopamine. This biological reinforcement draws them outward, towards social energy, like a flower turning toward the sun. Their brains are fundamentally wired to seek and thrive on external stimulation. The introverted brain, meanwhile, follows a different strategy. It's not that it's antisocial or deficient, it's simply more efficient. Introverts often display heightened internal connectivity, with more robust pathways within and between regions dedicated to reflection, planning, and imagination. Their dominant neurotransmitter pathway is often acetylcholine, which is linked to alertness, memory, and deep concentration. This internal architecture means they find reward not in the breadth of external stimuli, but in the depth of their inner world. They are not drained by solitude. They are recharged by it. It allows their minds to wander through complex ideas, to savor memories, and to build rich, imaginative landscapes. Think about what happens when your mind is at rest, when you're not focused on any particular task. Perhaps you're staring out a window or waiting in line. In these moments, a specific network in your brain hums to life. The default mode network, DMN. This is your brain's mental playground, the seat of your daydreams, your self-reflection, and your ability to imagine the future or ponder the past. Interestingly, studies have shown that this network is often stronger and more active in individuals who are more prone to daydreaming and introspection. It's their brain's natural default state to turn inward and explore the vast theater of the mind. It is crucial to understand that this inner architecture doesn't make one way of being inherently better than another. There is no correct brain wiring. Instead, these neurological differences simply reflect different, equally valid strategies for navigating the world. One personality thrives on absorbing and processing external energy, finding balance through connection and action. The other thrives on cultivating and exploring internal energy, finding balance through reflection and imagination. Both are essential for the rich tapestry of human society. The innovator who needs solitude to create is just as vital as the leader who inspires a team through charismatic interaction. Your brain's unique wiring is not a judgment. It is simply your personalized toolkit for experiencing and engaging with life. While your brain's initial wiring sets a certain trajectory, your personality is not carved in stone at birth. It is a soft clay, constantly being sculpted by the gentle and sometimes harsh hands of experience. The imprints left by life's journey can fundamentally reshape not just your outlook, but the physical architecture of your brain itself. This process is most dramatic in our earliest years. The developing brain of a child is exquisitely sensitive to its environment. Early childhood stress, whether from neglect, instability, or trauma, can profoundly retune the brain's stress response system. The amygdala, the brain's fear center, can become chronically overactive, and the prefrontal cortex, responsible for emotional regulation, can develop weaker connections. This can create a lifetime of caution, a personality that is perpetually scanning the horizon for danger, wired for a fight or flight response, even in safe situations. Yet, from that very same soil of adversity, incredible resilience can grow. A child who experiences hardship but has the consistent support of even one loving, stable adult can learn to overcome challenges. This process of navigating and conquering stress can forge new, stronger neural pathways for coping and to problem solving. It can cultivate a deep well of empathy and a powerful sense of competence. The scar tissue of early struggles can, in time, become a source of profound strength, a testament to the human spirit's capacity to heal and adapt. This sculpting process doesn't end in childhood. Your brain retains a remarkable capacity for change, a quality known as neuroplasticity, throughout your entire life. This means that your conscious choices and practices can physically reshape your neural architecture. Consider the practice of long-term meditation. Neuroscientists have observed that individuals who engage in consistent mindfulness meditation show measurable changes in their brains. They often develop a thicker prefrontal cortex, enhancing their ability to regulate emotions, control impulses, and maintain focus. The connection between the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala strengthens, effectively turning down the volume on anxiety and fear. It's like building a new muscle for patience, calm, and emotional balance through the simple, repeated act of paying attention to their breath. They are literally rewiring their minds for a more peaceful existence. Even the most seemingly mundane aspects of our daily lives leave their mark. Take nightly rest. Sleep is not a passive state of shutdown. It is a critical period of neurological housekeeping. During deep sleep, the brain works to consolidate memories, process emotions, and clear out metabolic waste products that accumulate during waking hours. When sleep quality is consistently poor, this vital work is disrupted. The brain's emotional circuits, particularly the amygdala, can become hyperactive and poorly regulated. This is why a bad night's sleep can leave you feeling irritable, emotionally volatile, and unable to cope with even minor stressors. You're not just tired, your brain is biochemically primed for negativity, and the influence extends even deeper into the surprising world of your gut. The gut is often called the second brain, for good reason. It is home to a vast and complex ecosystem of trillions of bacteria, known as the gut microbiome. This microbiome communicates directly with the brain via the vagus nerve, influencing the production of neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which are crucial for mood regulation. An imbalanced gut microbiome, caused by a poor diet, stress, or illness, can send signals to the brain that contribute to anxiety and depression. Conversely, a healthy, diverse microbiome, nurtured by a balanced diet rich in fiber, can support mental well-being and emotional stability. It is a profound realization that the food you eat and the health of your digestive system are directly involved in the conversation that shapes your personality and mood day by day. Long before you utter a single word, your personality is already communicating. It broadcasts itself to the world through a constant, silent, and often unconscious stream of physical signals. Your body is a living testament to your inner state, a physical echo of the mind's landscape. This unseen language is often more honest and more powerful than the words we choose to speak. Consider your gait, the very way you walk through the world. Is it purposeful and swift, with an upright posture and shoulders back? This can signal confidence, a sense of direction, and an open engagement with life. Or is it slower, more hesitant, with a slumped posture and eyes cast downward? This might convey a sense of caution, introspection, or even sadness. Researchers have found that they can often guess a person's general mood and level of extroversion simply by observing the biomechanics of their walk. Without a single word exchanged, you have already told a story. The pitch and tone of your voice are another powerful channel of communication. It's not just what you say, but how you say it. A lower, more resonant vocal pitch is unconsciously associated with authority and dominance. A voice that rises in pitch or wavers can betray anxiety or a lack of confidence. The speed of your speech, the rhythm of your pauses, and the modulation of your tone all combine to create a vocal signature that conveys your emotional state and personality traits far more effectively than your vocabulary. Even your unique scent carries subtle chemical signals. While we may not be as consciously aware of it as other animals, humans do respond to pheromones and other chemosignals that can influence social perception. Studies have shown that the scent of someone who is feeling happy and relaxed can make others perceive them as more trustworthy and likable. The scent of fear, found in sweat, can trigger a heightened state of alert in those who smell it. You are, in a very real sense, broadcasting your emotional state on the airwaves of scent. Eye contact is one of the most potent and primal forms of nonverbal communication. It is a biological negotiation of power, interest, and assertiveness. Holding someone's gaze can signal confidence, honesty, and engagement. Averting your eyes can be interpreted as submission, disinterest, or deception. The subtle dance of Making and breaking eye contact during a conversation is a complex social ballet that communicates volumes about your personality and your relationship with the person you are speaking to. And then there are the fleeting, almost invisible expressions that betray our true feelings before our conscious mind has a chance to censor them. These are micro expressions, flashes of genuine emotion that last for a fraction of a second, a flicker of contempt, a brief widening of the eyes in fear, a momentary downturn of the lips in sadness. They are often so quick that they are missed by the conscious mind, but they are registered on a subconscious level, creating that gut feeling we sometimes get about a person. These micro expressions are a window into the soul, revealing the authentic emotional reaction beneath the social mask. When you put all of these elements together, your posture, your voice, your scent, your gaze, your fleeting expressions, you realize that your very presence in a room is a broadcast. It is a rich, multisensory signal that communicates your inner state to the world. Your body speaks a language all its own, a silent, powerful, and deeply honest reflection of the personality that resides within. In the 21st century, our personality has found a new stage on which to perform: the digital world. The avatar you curate online, the persona you project through social media, often mirrors your real world personality more than you might realize. Even when we try to present an idealized version of ourselves, our fundamental traits tend to leak through. The extrovert's feed is often filled with pictures of friends, social events, and active engagement. The individual high in openness to experience might share articles on art, science, and travel. The conscientious person's profile is likely to be organized, consistent, and focused on achievement. This digital trail of breadcrumbs, your likes, your shares, your comments, your search history, forms a vast and detailed portrait of your inner world. It's a portrait that is being constantly analyzed by sophisticated algorithms. With startling accuracy, these algorithms can predict your personality traits, your political leanings, your consumer preferences, and even your vulnerability to certain psychological states. By analyzing the language you use in your posts, the frequency of positive versus negative words, the use of I versus we, the complexity of your sentence structure, they can infer your levels of neuroticism, agreeableness, and conscientiousness. In this modern era, we each have a digital twin, a reflection of our personality built from data that in some ways knows us better than we know ourselves. But beyond this very modern reflection, your temperament shapes something far more fundamental and timeless: your very experience of time itself. Your internal clock does not measure minutes and seconds in the objective way a wristwatch does. Instead, it measures the rhythm of your mind, a subjective flow that can speed up, slow down, or even loop back on itself. For the risk taker, the thrill seeker, the personality that thrives on novelty and adrenaline, time often seems to move faster. The intense focus and heightened arousal of an exciting experience, whether it's skiing down a mountain, giving a major presentation, or falling in love, compresses the perception of time. Hours can feel like minutes when the brain is flooded with dopamine and norepinephrine. The past is a blur of exciting moments, and the future is a horizon of new adventures to be chased. For the conscientious mind, time is not something to be experienced as a flow, but as a structured resource to be managed. It is a series of blocks on a calendar, a list of tasks to be checked off. The past is a record of accomplishments and lessons learned. The present is a period for focused work. The future is a detailed plan to be executed. For this personality, a sense of control over time brings a feeling of security and competence, while a disruption to the schedule can cause significant anxiety. For the anxious soul, the rhythm of time can be a cruel master. It can seem to drag on endlessly during periods of worry, each second thick with dread, and yet it can also loop back on itself, trapping the mind in vivid, intrusive memories of past failures or traumas. The past is not a distant country, but a constant, unwelcome visitor in the present. The future is not a realm of possibility, but a landscape filled with potential dangers to be anticipated and worried about. Their internal clock is often stuck, replaying the moments that caused the most pain. Your personality, therefore, acts as the conductor of your own personal symphony of time. It dictates the tempo, the rhythm, and the emotional color of your lived experience. Whether time feels like a rushing river, a well-organized library, or a haunting echo depends entirely on the unique structure of your mind. Your life is a story, and you are its primary narrator. But the way you tell that story, the events you choose to highlight, the tone you use to describe them, the lessons you draw from them, is profoundly shaped by the emotional filter of your personality. Your mind is not a perfect, objective recording device. It is a biased storyteller, and its bias is determined by your fundamental emotional temperament. This shapes how you remember your past and how you imagine your future. Consider the optimist. When they look back on their life, their brain has a remarkable tendency to dampen the sting of negative memories. They don't necessarily forget their failures or hardships, but the emotional charge attached to those memories is often reduced. Their minds selectively amplify the memories of success, joy, and connection. This isn't a conscious choice, it's a neurological habit. Their life's narrative becomes a story of growth, resilience, and positive outcomes. When they imagine the future, they do so with a sense of possibility and hope, focusing on potential rewards rather than potential risks. The pessimist, on the other hand, employs a very different emotional filter. Their memory often clings to past errors and disappointments, not out of a desire for self-punishment, but as a protective mechanism. They use these past failures as cautionary tales, detailed case studies to be reviewed and analyzed in order to avoid similar pitfalls in the future. Their life's narrative is often a story of struggle, of lessons learned the hard way. When they look to the future, their focus is on potential dangers and obstacles. This isn't necessarily a recipe for misery. For many, it's a practical strategy for navigating a world they perceive as uncertain and fraught with risk. This filtering extends to the very intensity of your feelings in the present moment. Your personality sets the volume knob for your emotional life. Extroverts, with their dopamine-driven reward systems, often show stronger and more immediate positive emotional reactions to rewards. Whether it's winning a game, receiving a compliment, or achieving a goal, the highs feel higher, the joy more exuberant. Conversely, individuals high in neuroticism often have an amplified threat perception system centered in the amygdala. For them, the brain's alarm bell is more sensitive and rings more loudly. A minor setback might feel like a major catastrophe. An ambiguous social cue might be interpreted as a sign of rejection. Their emotional life is a melody played in a minor key with a heightened sensitivity to the notes of fear, anxiety, and sadness. This isn't a character flaw, it is a biological reality of their brain's wiring. Their mind is simply doing a more thorough and sometimes exhausting job of looking out for potential threats. The emotional melody that plays throughout your life is a composition created by the unique structure and chemistry of your mind. What is the origin of a new idea? Where does a melody, a poem, or a groundbreaking scientific theory come from? While creativity remains one of humanity's most enchanting mysteries, neuroscience is beginning to map the inner landscape from which it emerges. It appears that the creative spark is often ignited by a unique form of brain connectivity. Creative individuals frequently exhibit more crosstalk, more dynamic and flexible connections between the brain's large-scale networks that don't typically work together. Specifically, they show a remarkable ability to link the emotional, intuitive regions of the limbic system with the structured, logical regions of the cognitive control network. This allows them to translate a raw feeling, a vague intuition, or a powerful emotion into a tangible structure, a painting, a mathematical formula, a business plan. They can feel an idea and then build it. This creative impulse is often linked to a personality trait known as openness to experience. People who are high in this trait have a hunger for novelty, beauty, and intellectual stimulation. They perceive the world with a richer, more vibrant sensory detail. The colors seem brighter, the music more moving, the flavors more complex. They are naturally more curious, more imaginative, and more willing to question convention. This perceptual richness makes them more likely to experience the profound emotion of awe, that breathtaking sense of being part of something vast, mysterious, and far greater than oneself. Whether it's standing at the edge of the Grand Canyon, gazing at a star-filled sky, or being moved to tears by a piece of music, the experience of awe can feel transcendent. It quiets the ego, fosters a sense of connection, and can be a powerful catalyst for creativity and pro-social behavior. Even your sense of humor, what you find funny, is a revealing window into the workings of your psyche. Humor is not just about laughter. It is a complex cognitive and emotional process. An appreciation for dark humor, for instance, has been correlated in studies with higher intelligence and lower levels of aggression. This suggests a mind that is capable of confronting uncomfortable, tragic, or morbid subjects with intellectual distance and emotional control. It can face the darkness with irony instead of fear, finding amusement in the absurdities of life and death. It's a sophisticated psychological defense mechanism, a way of processing difficult truths without being overwhelmed by them. The jokes you tell and the humor you appreciate are not trivial. They are a direct reflection of your intelligence, your emotional stability, and your unique way of making sense of the world. For a long time, it was believed that personality was largely fixed by early adulthood. We now know that this is not the full story. While our core traits do tend to stabilize around the age of 30, our personality is not a finished product. It is a lifelong journey of evolution, a continuous process of becoming. The self is not a static destination, but a fluid, ever-shifting landscape. adolescence is a particularly critical window for personality formation. The teenage brain is undergoing a massive rewiring, particularly in the prefrontal cortex, which governs decision making, social cognition, and self control. This period of intense neurological and social change is when we experiment with different identities, form crucial social bonds, and lay the foundations of our adult character. It is a time of great possibility and vulnerability, a crucible in which the self is forged. Throughout adulthood, major life events can act as powerful catalysts for personality change. They reorder our priorities, challenge our beliefs, and force us to develop new coping mechanisms. Becoming a parent, for example, often leads to an increase in conscientiousness and agreeableness. The immense responsibility of caring for a dependent human being can reshape a person's entire orientation to the world, making them more organized, more nurturing, and less focused on their own needs. Experiencing a significant trauma, such as a serious illness or the loss of a loved one, can also be a profound turning point. While it can lead to lasting psychological wounds, it can also, for some, foster a newfound appreciation for life, a deepening of empathy, and a reevaluation of what is truly important. This change doesn't only happen in response to major events, it can also be a result of conscious, intentional effort. Long-term psychotherapy, for example, can lead to measurable and lasting changes in personality traits. By exploring old patterns, developing new insights, and practicing different ways of thinking and behaving, individuals can effectively retrain their neural pathways. A person who has struggled with neuroticism can learn techniques to manage their anxiety, strengthening the regulatory control of their prefrontal cortex over their amygdala. The therapeutic process is, in essence, a guided form of neuroplasticity. Even a change in our environment can subtly reshape who we are. Moving to a new culture with its different social norms, values, and rhythms can be a powerful force for increasing openness. As the mind adapts to new foods, new languages, and new ways of seeing the world, it becomes more flexible, more tolerant of ambiguity, and more appreciative of diversity. The self you are today is not a betrayal of the self you were 10 years ago. It is the accumulated echo of every season you have lived, every challenge you have overcome, every person you have loved, and every choice you have made. You are a work in progress, and the beauty lies in the lifelong journey of becoming. When the lights go out and you drift into the world of sleep, the story of your personality does not end. It simply continues in a different language, the symbolic, often surreal language of dreams. Your sleeping self is not a separate entity. It is a deep and intimate reflection of your waking temperament. The content of your dreams and your ability to recall them are profoundly influenced by your personality. Extroverts, with their minds oriented toward the social world, tend to dream more often of social events, parties, and interactions with other people. Creative, open individuals are more likely to have bizarre, imaginative, and even lucid dreams, where they become aware that they are dreaming and can sometimes influence the dream's narrative. The dream world is their natural playground. Even your sleeping posture, the unconscious position your body assumes in the night, can reflect your emotional state. While it's not an exact science, there are observable patterns. A tight, fetal position, with the body curled in on itself, can signal a need for comfort and protectiveness, a subconscious desire to shield oneself from the stresses of the waking world. A sprawling, open posture, with limbs stretched out, can suggest a feeling of security, confidence, and a comfortable occupation of one's space. As your waking self evolves through the journey of life, your dreams often follow suit. The dream journals of people in therapy often show a fascinating progression. Early on, their dreams may be filled with themes of anxiety, pursuit, and fear, reflecting their internal struggles. As they progress in their healing and personal growth, these themes often give way to dreams of mastery, exploration, and connection. The dream world acts as a quiet, nightly rehearsal for the changes happening in their waking life, a safe space for the mind to process, integrate, and prepare for its own growth. So, what is personality? In the end, it is not a simple label or a fixed category. It is a grand, lifelong conversation between what is inherited and what is lived. It is the genetic whisper of your ancestors in dialogue with the resounding voice of your experience. Your personality is not a cage that confines you to a certain way of being. It is a living, breathing landscape that shifts like the sea, constantly being shaped by the winds of change, the tides of time, and the light of self-awareness. Inside you lives a chorus. It is a chorus of memories, of ancient instincts, of conscious choices, of unspoken fears, and of brilliant hopes. All of these voices are whispering together, moment by moment, to form the singular, unique voice that you call yourself. The mind is a galaxy of its own, vast and intricate, constantly unfolding and rearranging with every breath you take. You are not a final draft. You are a continuous and beautiful mystery, always in the process of being written. And so, the greatest adventure is not to sail to distant lands, but to journey inward. The most important wisdom is not to know the world, but to know yourself. By understanding the forces that shape you, your biology, your experiences, your thoughts, your emotions, you gain the power to become a more conscious co-author of your own story. You can learn to work with your nature, not against it. You can choose experiences that nurture your growth. You can practice habits that rewire your brain for more happiness and resilience. What part of your own personality do you find most fascinating, or perhaps most challenging? What experiences have you had that you feel have truly shaped who you are today? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to read them. This is a conversation we can all be a part of. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the mind. I wish you the very best of health, happiness, and self-discovery. And if you found this exploration meaningful, please consider subscribing to the channel for more deep dives into the mysteries of the human experience. Until next time,